Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto Two Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about something I've seen a few of you guys raise in the comment section of videos surrounding the last manga chapter, which is the question of whether or not Naruto is someone that Sasuke will be able to sense. Now, on face value, your knee-jerk reaction is probably the same as mine was, which is as soon as I read those comments, I went, yeah, that's not happening, don't get your hopes up. But after thinking back over the series again, I do think that there might be some merit to people bringing this up as a question, and I think that this might be the case if it was very subtly slipped into the series. Now, just to be clear and upfront, I'm not saying that I saw a sign that Sasuke sensed Naruto. There's literally no indication of that being the case, nor am I saying I'm all the way on board with this being the case in the future of Sasuke sensing Naruto's chakra. I want to be completely transparent with you guys, in particular for the people that make an assumption just based off of the title and thumbnail. However, I'm bringing this video to you because there's enough of an argument here for this being the case. I think we could have a good discussion on our hands. Allow me to explain why I say this. So the first sign that we had in this chapter that Naruto's location might possibly be sensed by others, it came from Himawari because she said she could feel it, that her father was still alive. And like a lot of you, I'm more inclined with each passing day to take the approach that she's probably saying this like she has faith in her father because of her memory of Boruto. It isn't of that of someone who would kill Naruto. However, if we play devil's advocate and say that this is part of that hidden power that Damon sensed inside of her, this could be a subtle way of saying that Naruto's location can be eventually sensed. For instance, if we go back to the versus Momoshiki arc when everyone was uncertain about where Naruto was, Sasuke was still able to sense Naruto's location enough to a point where he could say with certainty that he knew Naruto was still alive and was able to sense his presence strongly enough that he knew the exact space-time coordinates to jump to in order to get into Momoshiki's dimension where Naruto is being held, despite him never actually going to any of Momoshiki's dimensions. This is worth mentioning because it builds on that funky connection that these two share as reincarnates of Ashura and Indra, where Naruto could sense that Sasuke is approaching the battlefield despite not being in either Sage mode or Kurama mode, and Sasuke, while he was trapped in Kaguya's dimension, could faintly sense where Naruto's location was off and on. When we jump ahead in the timeline from the Momoshiki arc, we see a similar thing once again. Sasuke was previously in Ishiki's time space, and he retreated when he saw Jigen absorb chakra from the Ten Tails, and somehow was able to show up in Ishiki's other dimension mere moments after Jigen was preparing to leave Naruto stranded in Ishiki's time space while he went off to retrieve Kawaki. Sasuke wasn't inside of Konoha when they were fighting, otherwise he would have jumped in, and he wasn't watching to learn Jigen's powers either, because if he had been doing such a thing when Naruto fought Jigen, he wouldn't have needed Naruto to buy time for him so he could observe him when they were battling Jigen when Jigen was holding back. The only way that Sasuke could pull something like this off, showing up in Ishiki's other time space mere moments after Naruto and Jigen arrived, is if he somehow was able to track Naruto's chakra across those dimensions. This is something important to take note of because while on the other hand we know that the Rinnegan likely played a role in him being able to do this, we know just based off of that Ashura and Indra connection, at least on Naruto's end, that he could at least sense Sasuke before he was actually told Sasuke was coming. After Sasuke's Rinnegan was destroyed, we saw how the moment that Momoshiki's soul manifested outside of Boruto's body, Sasuke was the one who sensed Momoshiki, and he made the connection back to when this first occurred when Momoshiki gave Boruto the Chroma Seal. When he was standing right in front of Boruto, he flat out says he is alarmed by being able to sense Momoshiki inside of Boruto, which is our other sign that despite Sasuke losing the Rinnegan, some of those sensory abilities we saw him utilize after getting the Rinnegan still remain. Based off of what we have seen so far, non-Rinnegan Sasuke appears to at least be able to sense and get a read on things Otsutsuki clan related the closer he is to the source. I bring that up because Sasuke's never directly been next to Kawaki since all this Shinjutsu stuff occurred. Even when they were in the forest and hunting down Kawaki before the Shinjutsu, he wasn't close enough to Kawaki's location. And when the Shinjutsu went into effect, we saw a change occur where Sasuke suddenly stopped moving and went off in the other direction, which ended up being the direction Boruto and Sasuke in. Now, we did see Sasuke pull his sword on Kawaki and standing right next to him, but Sasuke, to be fair, had his emotions running at an all-time high, because the running theory that some people had, including Sasuke, was that Kawaki had killed Naruto. This whole idea of whether or not Sasuke can sense Naruto in another time space is going to be revealed in that next moment that Kawaki and Sasuke interact. Just based off of what we've seen in the past, there's a connection there with the two reincarnates, and Sasuke's ability as a sensory post losing the Rinnegan works best when he's directly next to or in close proximity to whoever he's sensing. Case in point, he's on top of the rooftop directly above Boruto and Momoshiki's soul manifested, and he could sense it transpire when it happened. Again, just to be transparent, I'm of the belief that when Sasuke does interact with Kawaki again, he's not going to be able to sense Naruto, even though Sasuke has a clear mind. But I am saying that if he does end up sensing Naruto, I strongly believe that this is going to be why. Now, the ramifications of Sasuke being able to sense Naruto are pretty huge when we sit down and we think about it, because while it's easy for us to assume that Sasuke during that 3 years he spent with Boruto has grown more accepting to the fact that his memories have been altered and that he can no longer trust them, as Ada just told us in the chapter, knowledge alone, it won't reverse it, but building new experiences is easier than trying to make people say that they can't trust their memories. And we saw it with Sasuke. Despite all the evidence that he saw, he was still unsure if Boruto was telling the truth. And the only reason he agreed to trust Boruto wasn't the scar on his face, or Momoshiki inside of him, or the whiskers on his face, or even Sasuke seeing Boruto had his headband. It was Sarada's words that made him give Boruto the chance to prove himself. If Sasuke ends up interacting with Kawaki and is able to sense Naruto, that settles the doubts left in his mind. While that won't make the Shinjutsu effect on him thinking Kawaki is Naruto's son go away, it does at the very least build on what Ada said, which is that it's easier to lead people to believe something else based on their own experiences instead of trying to rewrite what's already occurred in the past. That's basically what this would be doing, because this would be confirming Sarada's words to Sasuke that they've been lied to. Again, the memories of Boruto and Kawaki, they will remain switched, but at the very least, you now have Sasuke with something concrete that Naruto's still alive, which goes back to the very thing that he had initially told Boruto he was going to allow him to do, which was give Boruto the opportunity to prove Sasuke's doubts about him wrong and prove Sarada's faith in Boruto correct by revealing that at the very least he didn't kill Naruto and Hinata, which is a big part of the reason Sasuke wanted to kill Boruto first. Should this actually happen, it now makes us look back at Himawari and her statement about sensing Naruto still being alive a little bit differently, because operating on that same pretext that the closer they are to Kawaki, the more likely they are to sense them inside of Kawaki's time space, that would draw a line as to why she could sense Naruto, because there's no deeper bond than that of father and child. The same way that Naruto and Sasuke had that funky bond as reincarnates of Asha and Indra. As for why Boruto didn't feel it right away, it's what I said when I talked about Sasuke pulling his sword on Kawaki. Boruto at that point in time was extremely emotional and clearly not thinking clearly when he interacted with Kawaki. So it's possible that he didn't even pay attention or even notice anything during that time. Himawari would have been around Kawaki off and on again throughout the 3-year time skip, so it's possible she sensed something without realizing what it was she was sensing. Again, that's operating under the assumption that her belief in Naruto doesn't just come down to her having faith in Boruto not having done what everyone accused him of because of her memory of who Boruto is, being the guy who saved her from Delta, and thinking he couldn't have killed Naruto, which I think that is the likely case, that Himawari literally is only saying this because she doesn't think Boruto could have killed Naruto because of what she remembers Boruto doing when it was actually Kawaki who did it, but her memory's been swapped. However, I'm curious to see what you guys think about this. Do you think Sasuke can sense Naruto? While you think that over, click here to watch these other Naruto Explained videos you see on the screen right now.